Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually going to take you down into our woods and down to the creek to show you that part of the property and to kind of give you an idea of what we eventually want to do with some of it. So it's a little break from chores right now, so this is going to be the area that I go to when I need to relax down at the creek, and we both like to rock hunt, so come along with us.
Yeah, we're rock hunters.
This used to be a pretty decent kind of, not paved, but road down here, and it needs a lot of work. It's kind of hard to see through all the leaves, but it is extremely uneven. You can kind of see the bridge over there. Our road comes right off of Highway 50 there, and our house is on that busy road. So unfortunately, we do get a lot of the highway sound. It's a little bit better during the summer when the trees are all leaved out, but what can you do about that, you know?
Hey, we're down here in the creek bottoms, below the house. Our property lays kind of crazy, really. It kind of lays in a weird shaped L piece. But half of it is up on top of the hill. Then it's a straight shale rock wall, pretty well. And then it's down here in the creek bottoms. We got the massive big creek behind it. It's called Clear Spring Creek. Leads into Guthrie Creek. That goes to Back Creek. Back Creek goes to the White River. The White River goes to the Mississippi. You guys didn't need to know that, but I thought I'd share it.
I didn't even know that.
But down here we got a mixture of, there's some beech, sycamore, got some very nice walnuts, that's a hard maple, some poplar. What else do we got down here?
Bunch of briars.
A bunch of undergrowth briars. But when I get my tractor all running and stuff, I would like to purchase a 10 foot bush hog, probably a 6 footer. 10 foot's a little big to try to get through the woods, but eventually I would like to have pig lots down here with a shelter, but that we're ways away from that. And I can't stress enough how much a good neighbor is, because we can't access this bottom ground unless we cut through the back yard of our neighbor. And she's like, do whatever you need to do with my woods whatever you want to do. So when I get down here cleaning our woods up, I'll try to get hers cleaned up too. I've kind of tossed the idea around about trying to grow Christmas trees. It takes 7 years to harvest Christmas trees. So that's in the future. One thing about me is my mind never stops. I always try to think of the next thing, the next 400 things I want to do before I get the first 200 things.
I can testify to that. Unfortunately, just like we inherited some junk behind and next to the barn from the previous owners, we got some inherited junk down here. I didn't show you the worst of it. A bunch of old toilets. Here's an old love seat couch. And the plan is to eventually be able to get a dumpster down here to where we can just get all this trash up. It's an eyesore. I hate it. But it's not on the top of our priority list, obviously. But luckily enough, we have enough woods down here that we have plenty that, you know, we can come down here and enjoy it without having to be around all the junk. So you can see up there, the barn and our pig lot is just right up there.
Yeah, right behind that brush pile is the hog house. Pig house. The pigs right now, not hogs yet. Right here is one of my favorite pieces. Beautiful black walnut. When I first bought this place, I had a guy come out, assess the value of my timber. He told me this one right here will be a good one, and he asked me if I needed the money to help me pay for the place. I was like, no, not really. And he goes, just let it grow. Walnuts are slow growers, but boy, they're valuable when they're mature. This one's pretty. You could call this one mature, but it will probably cut for veneer. This is a very nice tree. I love him.
My goal for this area over here, since it's not completely overgrown, my goal is to be able to get it cleared out a little bit, not the trees themselves, but just all the small stuff, and actually have a little bit of an area down here where we can bring our tent and camp down here if we want to, right by the creek. Be pretty peaceful. We wouldn't be able to...
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
We wouldn't be able to leave camp and stuff down here because, just like you seen in the storm damage video, if we do get a good rain squall, that creek can raise pretty high, so we wouldn't want to lose anything. But it'd be pretty peaceful to get a tent set up down here with a couple of hammocks, and that's the goal. Again, not top priority, but a fun project that we will eventually be getting into.
And we can put a permanent fire pit down here made out of creek rock. So that'll be my part of it. I like mashing my fingers with rocks, I guess.
The creek has gone down a lot since the storm, so we were working around the pigs earlier, and I decided, hey, perfect time to come down and check it out and maybe find some cool rocks that have been pushed down.
It's crazy the trick. Every time we get a hard rain like that, the creek rises. It's amazing. When I first bought this property, how much this creek has changed just because of the rock moving. This gravel bar used to be halfway up through there, and it's pretty crazy because I've gotten to watch it just move on down. It takes a lot of water to move some of these rocks. Another thing that I just think is wild to look at, like here you can see the roots from the trees and the grass and everything trying to hold the bank in, but the water's just too much force. But you can see I'll pull them back here. I think it's neat how you can see the dirt level, the dirt line, and then you get into the rock, and then if you come down here, it's solid shale. I think that's just cool that you can see the layers of earth that the creek is just washing away. Nature takes it back.
So one of my favorite rocks to find are the hagstones. And if you don't know what those are the rocks that have a natural hole in them that the water has formed over time. And if you look at, fairy tales, stuff like that, you're supposed to be able to find a hagstone, and if you're out in the woods and you look through it, you're supposed to be able to see fairies through the hole. I've not been so lucky yet, but, maybe one day.
Another real cool thing about where we live, Jackson County, Washington County, a little bit of Brown County, a little bit of Lawrence County. Brown County is the only place in the state of Indiana that has geodes. I mean, there's other places in the world that have geodes, but not very many. They're kind of uncommon. But I really like to find them. I like to find the big ones. The big ones are very valuable. I've seen them sell for $2,000–3,000 a rock. Actually, my great uncle, Uncle Gene, he used to collect them and haul them to Florida, and that's how they paid for their family vacations for years. It was hauling them geodes down to Florida and Tennessee and stuff like that. So they're very sought after. But here's a few of them. This one, that's busted. But a lot of people like to bust them open because they're hollow on the inside, and like this one, you can see the different coloration in the hole. I don't have a hammer with me to bust them, but it's funny, when I was a kid, my mom had a bunch of them, big ones. I mean, I've seen them get this big around before. But I thought when I was a kid, I busted one open, and I thought that was gold inside. So I busted all my mom's with a maul, and boy, did I take a busting for that too. And now I wish I wouldn't have, so I could have them now. I search everywhere for big ones. But yeah, we're pretty fortunate because our creek has a bunch of them in it. I thought I found a good one, guys. I grabbed it out of the water. Broke.
Busted.
But yeah, that's what the inside of a geode looks like.
And when they're dry, they really shine. They look almost like
glossy
crystals. Yeah.
Or yeah, you can find crystals inside of them too. But yeah, it's a shame that one's broke. I mean, a lot of people like them broke. They'll bust them and see the insides of it. I guess I got my belly full of that as a kid, but I don't think people should bust them. Once you bust them, they're gone forever. But yep. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion, can do whatever they want to. But that's a nice one. I'll take him home though. Find something to do with it. That's a good thing about Natalie's hagstone collecting. She can put them in her hoodie pockets. My rocks, she gets a lot more rocks found than I do because I have to pack them back.
Usually Dirks end up in a pile here at the base of the path leading back, and he's like, oh, I'll come get them one day, and the pile just keeps getting bigger.
Creek. Yeah, I save them from the creek. I put them up on the bank so the creek can't get them again. But
all right, so there you have it, our woods and our creek. Well, part of our creek. Our property line runs to the center, correct?
Center line of the creek.
Okay. And I was able to find 3 hagstones. You can kind of, got one, that one, and then that one's kind of at a funny angle. And then Dirk ran off and picked me some pretty flowers. So
keep on keeping on, my friends.